right. Well, good morning. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. And you are that opportunity, and so am I, and so it is. Welcome, everyone, to CSL Midtown, coming to you this morning from Atlanta, Georgia. It's a beautiful day here. We are so glad that you have joined us today, and we welcome all people, no matter who you are or where you are in your life. We welcome all those listening online, either live now or on our recording. Our center is diverse, and it just reflects the diverse nature of life, and it's beautiful that way. So we welcome you, whoever you are, whatever path brought you to be here today. Know that you are in the right place. This is the right time for you, and that you are an individual expression of the divine life in which we all live. And we welcome you to participate here today and to become a part of this community. And we hope those of you who are watching our broadcast on social media will share this with your friends. Now, for a better understanding of who we are and what we teach, let's listen now to our Declaration of Principles as written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes.
A few of the Declaration of Principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful. The full declaration is available on our website, cslmidtown.org. Well, good morning again. My name is Judy Ailey, and I am the practitioner for today's service. Welcome to March. It's March 1st. The theme for this month is What If? ? And today we're talking about a world of pure imagination. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this teaching, had a lot to say about imagination and its role in creating our world and our lives. What kind of a world could we build together if we believed that anything was possible? This week's lesson takes us to the idea of the power of the collective imagination. If we really believe that there is one life, one wholeness, one unity, then through this oneness, we can tap into and be a part of the collective imagination. It is a very interesting idea. Remember that unity does not mean uniformity. The infinite one manifests in an infinite variety of ways. What is a spiritual unity that is back of all things? This is how we can participate in the collective imagination. And we are participating in it every day, whether we are aware of it or not. The message here is to become aware of what we are putting out. Be aware of what you are tapping into. Are you using your creative imagination out of worry and fear, or out of love, or out of a peaceful place? Let's give our attention to the spiritual unity back of all things. The future is always being written. The world we imagine shapes the world we create. Imagination is not a fantasy. It is spiritual power. What if healing a certain situation were possible? Your imagination is not separate from your spirituality. Imagination is the faculty by which we picture the good that we desire and create it. All right, I'm going to lead us now in a spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. So allow yourself to get comfortable wherever you are, and close your eyes if you're in a place where that is easy and comfortable for you, and take several nice, slow, deep breaths, allowing your awareness and your focus to be on right here and right now in this present moment, letting any thoughts of what comes next or what you've been up to, letting all of that go, and instead allow yourself to just rest right here and right now. Rest in your authentic self right here and right now. And as we do this, accept these words for yourself. I'm going to do this treatment in the first person, but please accept it for yourself. I recognize and know that there is one power, one presence, one life, one goodness, one love, one peace, one infinite possibility and creative power. And that this power is a power for good. And it is everywhere present. It is in us. It is around us. It is through us. It is in me, around me, and through me. And it really is all that there is. And all of that I see around me is a picturing of this goodness and of this power. I know that I am one with this. I am never separated from it. And as I know this, I know that I can use my imagination to go beyond what my experience is right now. I can know that I can have a body that functions well, that moves freely, that is an expression of vibrant health, that this is my natural state of being. This is what spirit can do in my body. This is what I desire for myself. And I know for myself that I am tapping into infinite creativity, infinite new ways to express and to think about situations in my life and to see them in a new and different way. That as I approach problems or challenges, I know that as I surrender them and let them go, that new ideas come to me of actions that I can take, of ways to move forward and move through, to know the truth, that really all is well. I know that the universe is infinitely abundant and prosperous, and I align myself with it and know that I bring great value to the world through my talents, through my ideas, through what I give in the world, and that I am compensated well for what I give, and that really I let go of any worry or fear about the economy or about the present financial situation that I may be facing. I let all that go and instead know that there's infinite abundance everywhere, and I simply align myself with that flow, and I know that it is good. I turn away from any ideas of worry and fear, of lack or limitation or illness or disease or pain or structural pain in my body. I let go of all of that. And instead, I know the truth of who I am. The truth of who I am is I am sound. I am structurally sound. I am structurally sound in mind and body, and that I live in a universe of infinite possibility. So I just open up my mind and know that I am one with this creative mind that guides and directs me in my life. So this is a truth, and I am grateful for it. I release this treatment now, knowing that it is so, and so it is. I think we have some music here. Janice Stanfield, If I Were Brave. Not a stranger to us, our friend, our dear Reverend Dr. Bob Deen is here with us today. He's a seasoned spiritual leader, educator, writer, dedicated to helping people discover the light within themselves. He has decades of experience in ministry and teaching. He is traveling around the United States. He was just in Kentucky to fill in at a CSL church there, and he's out west doing the same thing. So he is a jewel, and we're so privileged to hear from him today. So welcome, Dr. Bob. Welcome back. Not a stranger.
Because we talked about it. You are 12 years old on Thursday. Some of you don't look any older than that. Some of you look a lot older than that. And but as an organization, we're 12. No, we're 14. I'm sorry, my math was wrong. We started in 2012. This is 26. 14. You're teenagers already. Well, there you go. That explains a few things. Okay. Glad to know it. And speaking of birthdays and birth, there were a couple of babies who were hanging out in their mommy's tummy because they were twins, and they were having a conversation. And they were talking about the birth that was about to happen. And one of them's like, I'm just dreading this. I don't know if there is life after birth. It's really scary. This is really fine like it is here. I love it. I've got a pink light all the time, and things are quiet, and I always get fed, and I've got everything I need, and I'm warm, and the temperature's just right, and everything's fine. His sibling says, well, I'm not happy. It's getting way too crowded in here. I can't wait to find out what these rubber things we've got, our legs and arms, I think I heard somebody call them, and what we're going to do with them. We get to do something with them. I can't believe life would end when this birth thing happens, because we've got these things we haven't done anything with yet. And plus, we get to there's got to be more color than just pink in the world. There's got to be something else to see. And I just can't believe that life ends at this point. And he's, well, I hope you're right, but I'm not feeling very hopeful about it. And they just went on back and about this for a little bit. And finally, the hopeful one said, you know what? I'm mostly looking forward to meeting Mom. And the other one says, Mom? What are you talking about, Mom? Well, Mom, Mom is where we are. We are surrounded by Mom. Mom is where we live and move and have our being. And I can't wait. Wait a minute. How do you know that? The other one says, well, I know that because I hear her sometimes. When we're drifting off to sleep and we're really quiet, I hear the little nudge inside of me. I hear this idea, this voice saying, I love you and I welcome you and I can't wait to meet you. Mom's got to be out there waiting to meet us somewhere. One of my favorite stories. I just heard it yesterday actually. Now it's my favorite story. And we all know what happens after that, right? Now, I don't remember being in the room, so I don't know if I had any of those thoughts or not, but I do know that in coming forward into anything new, there's that fear of something being lost, something no longer existing that we're familiar with, and then stepping into something new that we don't know yet. We don't know yet. Some of us were talking in the kitchen before the service today about some people who used to be with us and aren't anymore because they made transitions. They made that other birth, that birth that comes at the end of life, where we birth into whatever is next. And we don't really know. And the other thing that really depressed of the two twins said about the whole thing was, nobody's ever come back to tell us for sure what happens next. Well, no one's ever come back to tell us what happens next either. No one ever told me anything that I would be prepared for where we are today in our world. I don't know about you, but I get up every morning and go, whoa, what's new? I don't want to know. I don't want to look. But I look and I find out and I deal like you do and like all of us do. That's the important piece from that whole story is, just as those babies are living in the oneness of their lives within the womb, so are we living in the oneness of our life in this world. We live, move, have our being immersed in and surrounded by this great power. It's what created us. If we really say there's only one, then there's only one. And if we believe that, then that means that you and I, all of us, have shown up as that one power. Individualized. We are not birthed out of it. We are birthed into it as we take shape and form. when I teach practitioners, one of the things I love to ask them is, so where do you release your treatments to? You know, at the end of a spiritual mind treatment, we release it. Oh, I'll release it out into the universe. I release it into this place or that place. No, you don't. There's only one place you can release it, and that's within your own self, because it's your consciousness that's creating it. That means there's something in each of us that has the power to bring forward manifestations of our imagined lives. I got really choked up watching this. I hadn't seen the video before. I've done the song for years, and I asked for them to play it, but I hadn't seen the video. I want to go back and watch it at home and soak up some of those amazing choices we make. I mean, think about your life. The things you've done because you're brave. Because big steps, little steps sometimes. There have been times in my life where I was brave enough to stay put instead of running off somewhere to escape. Lots of times I do the other. And lots of times it's a both and. Yeah. See, if the big issue that happens at birth is we forget who we are. We're coming into this world. We don't know who we are. We don't remember. We don't remember that oneness experience. And yet there's something in us that always pulling us back toward it. Always pulling us toward it, because it's really how life is all over, not just how we are birthed. And our tendency is to forget who we are. And then we start buying into the biggest lie that's ever been told to the human race, and that is that we are separate from our power. We are separate from the power of God within us. We are separate from the power that moves through us, in us, as us, and comes forward into life. That we are separate, separated, and damned. And then we get into all this thing of figuring out who's more damned and who isn't. And we have all this stuff that goes on out of that one belief in separation. So what if, this is our theme for the month, what if all these things we teach in Science of Mind are really true? What if we're all really immersed in a single power? What if you're really made of it? And what if it's simply as simple as the energy that powers your life, that one power, that thought, that next idea, that emotion? What if that's it? You know, if you roll back in your awareness, you can roll back to what are you aware of, but that's still something outside of you to be aware of. Before awareness of something, there is the awareness. It's just awareness. It's the one thing that we can definitely, the scientists can look at and say it's the one thing we all have. Every human on the planet is awareness. We are aware of different things, depending on our culture and where we grow up and what we do. But we all have that basic awareness, which the folks in the non-duality movement call consciousness. That is the universal consciousness. I have the awareness. It's the same awareness you have. It can just be aimed at different things. Often in meditation, I follow the questions, what am I aware of? I'm aware of my thoughts. I'm aware of my feelings. I'm aware. What is aware? Who in me, what part of me is aware that I'm aware? And then there are no more words. Then you drop into that unity, that oneness, that place where that universalness of that we all share shows up. Tom Johnson was one of my favorite early teachers when I first got into this. And every time he talked to a crowd, all right, folks, how many people are in the room? And people start counting. No. How many people are in the room? One. Radical oneness. One. We all have different expressions of what it means to be a person, but there's only one. And you can only perceive one person, and that's yourself. And what you see with your eyes, ears, taste, feel, all of that. Now, yes, we believe and we know there are more than one people in physical form, but on the cosmic level, there's one. And that's enough. It's more than enough. So part of what we need to do in this time in this world is to begin to get out of this belief in separation and move more back into the what if we are really one. What if all of the power of the universe is available within each one of us? And the place we have to start with that is reclaiming our own minds. I don't know about you, I sold mine out a lot in the last few years. I gave it away to YouTube and Facebook and video scrolling, and some people call it doom scrolling. I call it escape scrolling. Just anything but think about what's going on. And anybody else have that? You ever experienced that? Maybe once or twice? Okay. We got to get our minds back, because there's something happens when you're doing that and you're getting these constant firings within your brain starts to count on it. And then you can't deal without it. It's called addiction. And the way through and out of that is to find the flow states that are natural to human beings. Those flow states, those times where you can be concentrating on something that you care about and that matters and that stretches you and pulls you towards something, and yet you have the capacity to reach for it, and you get in the flow. You know that state too, right? You start working on an art piece that's just the best thing, and the first thing you know, you've been at it all day and you don't care. Or you drop into working, I just do drop into working on the talk, and I'm following this and I'm following this idea and that idea, and the next thing I know, it's been hours. And it's like, okay. Because afterwards, instead of feeling drained and worn out like I do after I do doom scrolling, I feel energized and alive and joyful. It's reclaiming our minds. We have to take the action to do that, because no one else can do it for us. It's ours. Another really important way to do that is to get enough sleep. Oh, come on, Bob. You're not going to go through the old stuff. Sleep, drink water, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. If we're going to claim our minds, we've got to take care of our bodies, and we've got to also make sure we're getting the things we need to do that. Second step, take charge of your mind again. Speak power to powerlessness. Speak power to powerlessness. There's a lot of talk right now about speaking truth to power, as if power is outside of us somewhere and we got to go make them listen. And so we do all kinds of things to do that. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea, because we need to be speaking truth, period. If you want to call it to power or to something else, a better thing is to say speak power to those people who are in charge of the physicality of life right now. But that's not power. Because the power that exists in the universe for all of us is present within you. So speak your power outward and speak truth in power, and the powerlessness around you begins to be very obvious. There was a wonderful book, I can't remember the title right this moment, a few years ago, where the power versus powerlessness, Rollo May, got it. In that book, he talks about what is power and what is powerlessness. And he makes a whole argument for the idea that violence occurs, physical attack occurs when people reach the end of their sense of power, where they feel powerlessness, and the only way to get power is to attack and try to take yours. It's a horrible thing when you think about it, because it's right here in all of us. Speak your truth to truth. My friend John De Palma, some of you know, is a wonderful minister. He's now in Canada at Kelowna Church of Religious Science up there. And his statement always is, you will not ever convince me that your demonstrations have more strength and power than my treatments. Think about that. Doesn't mean we don't demonstrate. Doesn't mean you don't get out and fight for the things that you think you need to fight for. But don't forget that the real power of that is what you believe about it, and the stance from which you're coming. If you're coming from a place of powerlessness to try to get power in place, it ain't going to happen. If you're coming from a place of power, knowing this is the truth and I'm standing up for it, that's a whole different ballgame, I think. Oh, by the way, full disclaimer, this is Bob. This is my ideas. Take them, leave them, work with them if you like them. But I'm convinced that we are now at a time like never before we are called upon, demanding that we stand in our power. Everything we've done in this New Thought movement up until now has been preparing us for now. How to meditate, how to be in community together, how to care about each other, how to see past the outside version of people into the hearts, into the namaste, the power of spirit within each of us. We've been preparing for this for a long time, and now we're here. We maybe we helped create it by preparing for it, you know? Yeah. If you listen, you can hear her. If you listen in the quietness for the mother, you can hear her. Just as when you listen now to the divine spirit within you in the quietness of your mind, you will hear, you will feel, you will get the nudges to move you to whatever your next right action needs to be. This guy, people talk about a lot, Jesus. He's been around and been quoted for a couple of thousand years, and one of the things he said that we're still trying to figure out what it means and how to do it. There are really only two commandments that override everything else. Love God. I would say love the mother, love the energy of life itself, and love one another as if it is yourself. Ernest Holmes says that we are each alter egos for one another. We love ourselves, we love you. And you know what happens is mostly we do love other people about the way we love ourselves. So if you want to up the ante for loving other people, then up the ante for loving yourself. How are we doing? We're doing fine. Okay. Yeah. One of the most powerful ways I've discovered for getting past our apparent differences, this world we live in where we are so divided, we seem to be, it's not enough to disagree with people. People seem to need to to attack you for your difference of opinion and make you wrong. One of the most powerful ways to get past that in our attitude is to look past their behavior, their thoughts, and the way they're feeling, and look for the need underneath it. The required basic needs of humanity are the same, whatever your political leanings, whatever your desire. Now, the differences come when we think we know, because we have different ideas of how to get those needs met. But look for the basic need, the need for connection, the need for love, the need for safety. And if you see that in yourself, you can see it in someone else sometimes. But you have to look. You have to stop your reactions to whatever, if they disagree with you or you don't agree with them. You have to look past all of that and try to see what's the need underneath. And I've seen it happen again and again. If you can have that conversation to help it get to that need level, the other stuff falls away. Yeah. We agree on our needs. We don't agree on how to meet them. Thich Nhat Hanh, in his wonderful, wonderful book, No Mud, No Lotus, if you haven't read it, I encourage you to, talks about the juxtaposition in life because we live in a polarized life, because we live in a duality. There is that both and. Out of our suffering comes our most beautiful flowers sometimes. We saw it here. People talked about making the change. And we all went by pretty fast, but where they took the mud and they turned it into lotus, or they turned it into the beautiful flowers. It's a beautiful book. I highly recommend it as a devotional read. And one of the things he says in there, he talks about when he first became a monk, he had a assignment, or he had to memorize a whole lot of stuff. And one of the things memorized was a waking prayer. And it went like this. Waking up this morning, I smile. I have 24 hours to live. I vow to live them deeply and learn to look at the beings around me with the eyes of compassion. Waking up this morning, I smile. I vow to live them deeply. I have 24 hours to live. I vow to live them deeply and learn to look at the beings around me with the eyes of compassion. All of the beings around me. One of the questions I put in the lead-in to this talk was, do we really want a world that works for everyone? Maybe we have it, depending on working for people according to what they think they want or what they declare they want. But do we really want a world that works for those people we see as enemies, as a danger to ourselves or to others? It's a good question. But it all dissolves away if you take it on a 24-hour, day-to-day basis. Look at where your sphere of influence is. Your sphere of concern, yes, is big. But look at where your influence is. Your influence is your heart, your mind, and through that, the collective consciousness of the universe, of the world. That's where you have your power and potential. And in practicing this compassion with one another, that's where we get to experience the love that we desire for the whole planet. And the way to that compassion is through basic needs and being aware of what you and those around you are needing, and recognizing that no matter how different they may seem, they are humans just like you. My morning prayer includes some of that. It also includes starting the day saying, what is mine to do today? What is mine to know today? And what is mine to be today? And I write it down. What am I going to be today? Am I going to be love? Am I going to be life? Am I going to be light? Which of the qualities of God that we talk about do I want to really bring forward and be today? Or do I feel called to? And it helps me direct my thinking and remind myself when I go wandering off into the egoic world of right and wrong, good and bad, duality, separation, all of that. And I do. It brings me back. So I'd like to close today with a spiritual mind treatment meditation. I'd like to invite you to join me. If you would like to, just taking a deep breath, settling into this moment. Just let your attention turn back to your breath. What a gift. Life breathes us. The divine breathes us. One of the words for spirit in many languages is the same as the word for breath. Waking up this morning, I smile. Imagine yourself smiling. I have this day to live. Imagine how you want to experience and to live this day. If you choose, vow to live this day deeply, 1 hour at a time. And learn to look at the beings around you with the eyes of compassion. The power of life, that life is, that God is, that the infinite is, something we are totally immersed in. It is what we're made of. It is the substance of ourselves. It is the energy and life of ourselves. It is our thoughts. It is our passion. And mostly it is our awareness. So knowing that, we step into this awareness and a choice to see the good. Because I have an ability to be aware, and I get to focus my awareness in the direction I choose. Today I'm aware of the loving transformations that are happening all around me. Today I choose to be aware of the love that I see, the amazing interconnectedness of all of life. From all of the many, many people who went into bringing the food to the table today, to the setup of the chairs, to the concepts and ideas behind the electronics we're using. This has not been a singular thing. It is a loving, connecting power. So knowing that, I stand with renewed commitment to live according to my truth that I know and I understand, and be open to the truth where it shows up from others in other places. I love life, first and foremost, which is the first commandment. Love life. God, Spirit, whatever word you want to put on it. Today I choose to love others as myself. With compassion, with kindness, and when it's really tested, with politeness at least. I walk into that space knowing I am loved. I have everything I need to support it. So in this place and at this time, can only be grateful. Grateful for all that are here. Grateful for all those people out there listening and seeing and hearing these ideas. Grateful for whatever truth you may find in them. Grateful for whatever nonsense. That's up to you. So in this gratitude, I know, and know that I know, that this idea, these ideas matter. They matter in me. They matter in each of us. And I stand in that truth. And in so doing, I let it be. I let it be so. And so it is. Thank you. Now we're going to hear from, I think, our president. Are you president of the board?
Thank you. I am the president of the board.
Yay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, hit number 1 on the board there. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dr. Dean, for that wonderful talk and treatment to bring us into this next thing. So the next thing I'm going to do is our new minister sacred covenant easy prayer. And we did a lot of work on this, and we'll go into that in a little bit. So there is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express spirit I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of Spirit as principle. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God. For it is written, principle is not bound by precedent. It operates according to law, and it is always available to those who are willing to align themselves with it. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspired to live as love in the expression of principle. I am awakening the wisdom within me by clearly communicating the principles of universal truth. I am a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy, recognizing the inherent wholeness within all beings. I am offering teachings, classes, and mystical studies grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner wisdom, personal transformation, and empowered living. I am extending the love, compassion, and transformative power of Spirit into the wider community, fostering connections that heal, uplift, and support individuals in their unique journeys. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will express Spirit and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful. God is gracious, and so it is. All right. I thank everybody. It's now time for a conscious giving, and this is a conscious part of us. You can donate at cslmidtown.org/donate, and you can go there, set up a one-time donation, or do an ongoing donation. And if you're online listening to us, actually on the podcast, this is especially $5 or $10 a month. Set up your ongoing contribution and contribute if you're getting fed by this message that we bring to you every single week. If you would say with me our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. We got some announcements. Right after this, we're going to have our annual meeting. So I'd like everybody online, stay online. We'll do a little switch up with that, get the Zoom meeting online so you guys can all participate in that meeting. And for those of you in the room, grab a plate while we're doing that, come back to your seats, and then we'll do the meeting interactively with that. So just a little setup there with that. So we appreciate your cooperation with that. For you online, it may take us a minute to get set up, but don't leave. And next week we have Reverend Jeffrey Radcliffe, Deliberate Creation versus Creation by Default. So that should be an interesting talk by him online next week. And let's do our affirmation of life. Leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. All right. So for you online,
there is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use